Major League Journeymen, we are in the thick of MLS playoffs. We got a bunch of games in the third game of round one. Most importantly, our main man, Dax McCarty, who picked up arguably the biggest result of the weekend. We're going to chat with him, chat about how that was his last home game ever. That is a mental exercise that probably will play out for the rest of his life. But to go out the way that he did, pretty incredible. Let's hear from the man himself. Let's jump in. Major League Journeymen, we're back after the Halloween. Man, I'll tell you what, the boogeyman came out in Atlanta and just slayed the dragon. That was absolutely incredible. I got the talk of the town, the toast of the town, Dax McCarty and Alan Gordon. Gordo, I want you to just let's just chop Dax's legs out right now and just cut him back down to size. Let's bring him back into the stratosphere. Tell me, for you, what was the most significant result of this moment, this match day in the playoffs? Because unfortunately, it wasn't Dax slaying the dragon in Atlanta for me. Do you have a different result? Because I think that there should be one. There is one in my mind anyway.
Well, although we are very happy for Mr. Dax McCarty getting a victory on his last home game, which was documented by him himself. And we'll let
a lot of self-promotion going on in the McCarty household.
We will let him talk about how electric Atlanta was, because I think that the town came out and supported him. But you're right, it wasn't the biggest, because let me just give you a little context and how disappointed I am in us, and you're included, because our predictions were so stupid, so stupid, and they were so vanilla, and it was just like we picked all the top seeds.
You went all chalk, dude. You guys are both so bad.
It's so bad, Gargs, and I blame you because you were guiding the conversation. And so the first of all, Columbus is out.
Get to your punchline. God damn, thank you.
That was the result. New York Red Bulls, who you and I basically, we didn't even spend any time on if
nobody, not a person in the universe had the Red Bull upsetting the Columbus Crew.
And they went and smacked them, which works against our former co-host, since he just dropped off the freaking pod. There he is. So that's my answer. Columbus is out, dude.
So wait, you're
Wilford is not the best coach in the league.
Which is what I've been saying for, I don't know, maybe the last 5 months.
Because of one result. Okay.
No, because Tata Martino is a better coach. I love what Wilford's done, but Tata Martino is the best coach in the league. But
seems like a lot of recency bias. I mean, I obviously know
he also just lost, so he could be.
I think we are massive underdogs going into Miami. But are you going to sing the same tune if we somehow beat Miami in advance? Are you going to sing the same tune?
No, then.
Okay, got it. You heard it here, Gordo.
Then Vanny's the best.
Then Vanny's the best. Okay.
Then Rob Valentino is the best coach in the league.
Okay. Got it.
Listen,
I'm working with a bunch of amateurs here. It's unbelievable.
No. You know what? We are truth sprayers. What? Truth sayers? I don't know. Either way, I still am shocked. I'm shocked that Columbus is out. I'm genuinely shocked. I'm not shocked, and I wasn't shocked to see Atlanta beat Miami in Atlanta, especially with the environment that I've been in, that Dax plays in, that Dax has been privy to, that ultimately Dax, like, really, really incredibly special, that was your last game at home. That's insane. I can't even put into words how incredible that is, and you won't even realize it for another couple years. It's unbelievable.
Dude, you put that very succinctly after trying to come up with how to say truth tellers.
Yeah, truth tellers. That's what I was looking for.
Dude, it was, I mean, it's kind of indescribable, man. Just the whole night. We knew it was going to be a great crowd. I mean, let's not kid ourselves. I mean, I think you asked me on the last pod, Gargs, about
What were
Going
you?
into a game like that, like, do you treat it like a normal game? When I said yes, you know it's not. You know it's not a normal game, and you know that there's a lot on the line. Obviously, our season, which is the most important thing, but then you add in the Inter Miami star power factor, the Messi factor. It takes the game to another level. It just does. There's no
And
doubt
the
in my mind.
playoffs. And it's the
And the
playoffs.
playoffs. That's my point. I mean, the whole day from start to finish, man, it was perfect. There was no I wouldn't have changed a thing. And I have to tell you guys, like, if you watch the game, if you didn't watch the game, it was one of our top three best performances of the year, top to bottom, from everyone on the field. And it's the reason why I signed with Atlanta United. The supporters were absolutely tremendous. And honestly, it really felt, even though Messi was in town, it felt like it was probably about 75%, 80% Atlanta United, 25% Inter Miami Messi fans. But the atmosphere was electric, dude. It was like fans living on every moment. Every chance was loud, celebrated. It was once if we created a chance and the ball went out for a corner kick, it was like the roar of the crowd pushing us on in the first half. Like it was just electric, man. I mean, that's what you go to Atlanta for. Like that's why I signed with this team, for atmospheres and moments like that. And just having my kids, having the kids be able to do the walkout onto the field with me and be there in that moment and like take in the national anthem and I actually played. I started, and you guys know it's been a tough year for me. I haven't played a ton. And being able to be called upon in that moment and going out there and helping the team getting a win in a big moment it's hard to put into words, because you guys know the end of your career is not easy, and there's no perfect script. I think. I mean, the only perfect script would be to go out on it with a championship, but we know how difficult that is. So for that to be my last home game ever, I mean, you said it, dude. What a way to go out, man. It was a lot of fun.
Hey, Dax, what I remember my last game. And I knew it was going to be my last game. We didn't go to the playoffs.
Right.
This is not your last game, but it was, what you're saying is this is a moment, a last home game that you're going to remember forever.
It could have been our last game, though. That's the thing, Gordo. I had to have the mindset like this could be it as well. Just like I've had that mindset for the last month.
Right.
So I remember all the feelings. Feelings were so vibrant for me in my last game. I remember trying to take it all in, all the feelings of being on the field, all the, just 90 minutes, or I probably played 9 minutes, but whatever I did, it was, I just remember what were some of the things that were kind of nostalgic? Like do you remember any of those feelings besides having your kids there? That's special, but like on the field, like this is it. This is what I've been doing for 20 years as a pro, and this is what I'm going to miss.
I tried to normalize it as much as possible, Gordo. You know how it is. It's hard to break your routine and really soak it in. So the only ways that I differed from my routine that I normally did is, as you know, Gargs, we've talked about this before. We have to get to the stadium astronomically early for our pregame meal and the walk with the fans.
Dude.
You know how it is. So I was there very early, and actually after our pregame meal and before we went on the walk for our fans, I actually went out onto the field by myself before the game, and it was just completely silent, right? And you had 3 or 4 people kind of trickling around the outskirts of the field. You had a couple workers in the stadium, but like it was totally empty, right? And it's such a big stadium, it's cavernous, it's huge. And I just kind of soaked it in, man. Like you don't typically do that on your own home field because you know it so well, but I wanted to go out there in case it was my last time and just like breathe it in. This will be potentially the last time I'll step on this field as a player, right? And it was great, man. It was a great moment. You're in your own element by yourself, just kind of reflecting on everything. And you don't want to, like, the thing is, you want to appreciate it, but you don't want to get too sentimental because you're like, dude, you got to go.
You still got to go to battle.
Like, I don't like, dude, don't cry right now. Like, you got to wake up, bro. Like, what are we talking about here? So it's a lot of like, it's like, let's get into like the ethereal, like a lot of visualization. Like, all right, Messi's running at you one-on-one. Like, how are you going to handle this? And then you just laugh and be like, all right, just pray that he has an off night. Pray that he has an off night. Pray that you get a little bit of help. But yeah, man, it was cool, dude. And then the other moment that I think really stuck out for me was when I got subbed out. It was 1-1, and the game doesn't go to extra time. It goes straight to penalties. And I think at that moment, I mean, Miami, they just have so much quality. They were kind of like wrestling control of the match from us at that point, and they started to kind of pin us a little bit deeper than we wanted to be. And I got subbed out, and I was thinking, this is going to really suck if we concede here, or it's going to be even harder if we go to pens.
Right.
And I just didn't know how to feel in that moment because you want to have confidence in your guys to get the job done, which I did, but you're also like, but if it doesn't go your way, that was your last moment. Like you just
Jax,
walked.
when you looked over and saw the board, were you like shocked? Like what was that? What was that moment?
No, I wasn't shocked. I felt like I can play 90 for sure, but it wasn't that shocking to me because we do have four good central midfielders that Rob has rotated through.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't that shocking to me because I don't want Rob to get sentimental in this moment either. I want him to make the best decision for the team. And if the best decision for the team is getting fresh legs on the field and subbing me out because I'm a little bit older or I'm looking a little more tired, then do it. That's fine. But yeah, I just walked off the field and I gave the clap for the fans and it was a great reception, man. I feel like for only being here for a year, the fans have accepted me. They've taken me in. They've showed me love, and so. Dude, it was a storybook, man.
Jax, Atlanta is a hospitable town. They care about their players. They care about their teams. I think it also comes from Arthur Blank, who is like the most hospitable owner I think that exists in professional sports, almost to a fault at times. But they showed him and Garth and Skate and like they're the bigger pieces.
Arthur's son was in there too, I think. Josh,
of that organization, just
losing their minds,
and it's like, I mean, we as former players, you get so emotionally tied to these results, right? Like that is your identity, and you can't help but lose it. Like you can't control it. It's uncontrollable. But when you see individuals like that in that moment, the unexpected, joyous, loss of control, and being around those individuals, being around the individuals that put in those times and send ungodly amounts of emails to be able to provide the environment and the atmosphere that is fueled by the 17s. It pretty incredible to see that type of stuff too. When you ultimately walk on the field, right, and you guys are celebrating, and it's now game 3 is back in. At what moment does it hit you that you have to go back down to Miami to advance? And when are you thinking about that? Like, okay, now we've essentially poked the bear here, and now we're going to get a different look at Leo Messi.
Yeah, man, it didn't hit me right away because you're just like in the moment. You're just riding high, dude. The vibes are so good. You don't want to ruin the vibes with thinking about what's to come. It hit me today. We had training today on Tuesday. It was our first real day back. And we were just, going through some video, parsing through some things. And you just, once you start to look at things back, I mean, you just see how much quality they have, even on the road. And they were missing Busquets. They're going to get Busquets back. And all those feelings come back about, like, this is a team full of players who have played in World Cups, have won World Cups, have won Champions Leagues, multiple Champions Leagues, multiple Golden Boots, multiple XYZ, multiple Ballon d'Ors. Like, you're just going through the list, and so you're thinking these guys in a first round playoff series, game 3, probably not going to be too phased, right? Like you're probably poking the bear a little bit going up against Goliath and you're David, and that's great. I mean, I think that's where they love to be, and I think that's kind of where we need to be. Like that's the story of our last month. Like no one has given us a chance, not even the dinosaurs, my friends on the Zone podcast gave us a chance. Fair enough, but that's the place we need to live. And we also just need to go back to the summer where we went down to Miami and they were full strength and we won the game 3-1 and we played really well. So yes, definitely a daunting prospect. I don't expect anyone to pick us, least of all you guys. And look, we have to believe in each other. We have to have that internal belief in each other. And look, Rob Valentino, he's had this great saying for the last month about, no one believing in us, and it's F them all. Like, screw it. Let's go for it. So we had nothing to lose, man. We're playing with house money, so I feel good about it.
Yeah, and I apologize, man. I mailed my ballot in a while ago, Miami, so it's already being counted.
I forgive you guys.
Gordo, how does Atlanta go to Miami and win this game? You've watched a little bit of Miami. You've certainly watched a lot of Atlanta. Are you giving them any shot?
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
Yes, because PKs. You go down there and you make it really, really tough on them. And for one reason or another, and I am not a tactician. I can't even say the word. I am not. However, Atlanta, through our conversations with Dax, Atlanta matches up really. It's a bad matchup for Miami. One reason or another, they're always in close games. They beat them. They beat them twice. They've tied them. Whatever. And they're a tough matchup. And so you kind of want to say, just do what you did last time. However, this brings us into a different conversation. Like, I believe that the current format, the 3 games going straight to PKs, it favors the higher seed. It favors the worst team because they can go in there and just play for a tie and see what happens in the PKs. Am I saying they should do that? No, they shouldn't. They should go out and do what they've done. They match up well. However, you got to give the advantage to the away team because, listen, if they're going to make it tough for them, they always are going to have a chance in the PK shootout. If it gets to a certain position or certain minute in the game, then you're thinking, all right, park the bus, play, don't give up any goals, and then we'll take our chances. So I think
I like your outlook, but like you're realistically not going. If you're presented with 2 options and you're saying, okay, you get either 2 games at home or 1 game at home, you're not going to take 1 game at home. No. So you can't say that they have the advantage.
well, it's down to 1 game. The other 2 games are done. The two.
But still, okay. I'll ask Dax. Dax, you want to play the game 3 in Atlanta, or you want to play it in Miami? It's just because there's PKs at the end of it doesn't mean that they have the advantage. But I do like what you're saying. I like
more of a chance. I mean,
they definitely have more.
Yeah.
Dax, are you feeling like? I think what Gordo's saying in terms of Atlanta being a tough out right now is this a combination of just kind of defeating the odds over the past month of getting in, and is it genuinely snowballing to a place where you guys are feeling like, okay, this is maybe a destiny type of thing?
I think that's a fair way to put it, Gargs. I said this before. I've been on teams where we've had amazing regular seasons. I mean, more times than not, I've been on really good regular season teams, and we've either won the Supporter Shield or won the Eastern Conference and been the favorites going into every single playoffs. And for one reason or another, we fall short. And this time, it's the total opposite feeling. It's we snuck in here by the skin of our teeth. Some people might say we got lucky. Some results went our way. Got luck. Sure, whatever. But like, you almost start to feel like it is destiny because things are falling in place. We're getting bounces that we didn't get in the regular season.
Right.
We're having players come into form that maybe weren't in the best form in the regular season. And like, look, we have a tactical plan that has worked for the last 3 or 4 weeks. And who knows why? Like, I can't explain that. These are things that are difficult to explain because it's the same players, except with the exception of Alexei Miranchuk, who we've added, who's been pretty good. Like, it's pretty much the same team, right? Except we lost some really great players that we sold in the summer. So these things are hard to explain, man. I'll just say that there's just a really good mood and a really good vibe around the club right now. And I think confidence is a great thing. You can never underestimate how scary confidence can be. Because if it goes one way, you're flying like we are right now. And if it goes the other way, well, that little doubt creeps in. And then all of a sudden, all that great work you did in the regular season, if you're a higher seed, well, it might just go out the window a little bit because you're expected to do more. Like, no one expects anything from us. No one expects us to win. And so obviously the expectations are very high in our own locker room. But when you don't have that external pressure,
Mhm.
that makes things a little bit easier.
I think that we've talked an awful lot about not that necessarily the margin of error, but I think the differences in a lot of these teams, a lot of these players being somewhat negligible, right? Like you got a lot of talent in Major League Soccer that I think is pretty comparable. You have the difference makers that are another tier, but in a lot of ways, you could pick up Dax McCarty out of Nashville and he could be just as successful in Atlanta as he could be with LA, as he could be with Chicago. And you can throw other people in that conversation that maybe haven't been as successful in Colorado. You take the same player and you throw them into the environment in Minnesota, and they're an all-star. I think when I think about this, teams of destiny that have that just that no, not no pressure, but they remove that kind of fear that prevents them from moving forward or prevents them from
Sure.
maybe accessing everything that they have to give. And it's tough. It's tough to beat a team like that. It's tough to beat a player like that doesn't have anything to lose or doesn't feel like they have anything to lose. And that's what it seems like Atlanta is playing with right now. And
Question.
to Gordo's point, about being a tough out, I can't think that Tata and Miami are thrilled to come back home again and have to play in a game three
I agree.
because there's nobody similar to Columbus on their way out. Nobody expected Columbus to lose. Nobody expected Miami to lose. Nobody expected, no disrespect, Dax, but nobody expected Atlanta to get out of the first round. And now here you guys are. Sorry, more calls than I want to deal with. But nobody expected Atlanta to get out of this.
Right.
And you're sitting in exactly what Gordo's talking about, which is like maybe a favorable, advantageous place in going to Miami and playing for a
Let's
result to get to PKs.
and let's not underestimate the task we have in front of us.
No,
It,
and that's
it's
what I'm
massive.
saying. Like this is
It's
still
massive.
a
There's
monumental task.
there's a monumental task ahead of us, but I think how you put it, the thing that I'll take the most from it, what I've said publicly is there's just no fear. Like, why should we be afraid? We've
Mhm.
won down there already. We've beaten them at home. Like, they're an amazing team, and they do things that no other team in this league is capable of. And I'm like the connection between Messi and Jordi Alba. Take Busquets and Suarez out of it. Messi and Jordi Alba, it's almost like we know exactly what they are going to do. We have seen the pattern a million times,
Right.
and they do it 5 times a game. Even
What a statement, by the way. Take the other two all-time best 11 players
it's
in the
true
history
though.
of the game out of the conversation. And
It's
let's
true
just
though.
focus on
I'm just
this
focusing
relationship.
on Messi and Jordi Alba. The connection they have is so crazy because you game plan for that. You know exactly what's going to happen, and they still do it anyways
Yep.
because they have so much quality
It's
still.
telepathic, man.
It is. That's exactly what it is. And so like there are things that you can prep for all you want, and they are still going to be able to get in positions. And so that's why I say our success hinges on a collective effort defensively, being clinical in transition, and to be honest, a little bit of hope that they just have another off night. That's what you have to kind of like go into.
Yeah, well, maybe you're catching them in the right round of the playoffs, Mr.
I
McCarty.
also wanted to. I told Gordo this before we started recording. I had an interesting little interaction with Messi. I think you guys would find pretty funny because obviously he
Was
doesn't.
this before or after your son karate chopped him?
This was after.
And
Which,
every Miami player after him, which I was dying.
my son. It's funny because he's 5 and my little guy's 2, so they don't really have any idea who these people are or what's
Of
going on.
course.
They just know I'm going out with dad. All the other kids are older. They're like 7 or 8. So all these, I'm picturing in my head Miami walking from their locker room through by all of the ball kids and all the kids freaking out like, dude, there's Messi right there. There's Suarez right there, right? Like there's Jordi Alba, oh my God. And they're all like, yeah, and they're all dapping him up. And then you have my son in the front who's like, I don't know who you are, karate chop. I don't know who you are, karate chop. Like, and it's funny in this like day and age we live in where my wife's got the phone out and she captured that moment, which I think when Cal gets 10, 15 years older, he will appreciate how dumb he looks in that moment, but like how special it really would be for him.
Oh
You know what
yeah.
I mean? So we're playing, and like, look, we've played these guys a bunch of times, so we've had a couple duels here and there. Me and Messi, I've been on the wrong side of most of them, but there was a play early in the game, like 7, 8 minutes in, a little bit of a loose pass in midfield, gets by me, and it's like a 50-50. It's going to Messi. We're at the halfway line, and we only have like 2 or 3 defenders back. So I make the decision. I have to go all in for this tackle. He tries to lift it over my foot, and I raise my foot up. I win the ball, but I kind of catch him. A little bit of studs on the bottom, and I had just gotten bailed out by a call from the ref like a minute or two earlier, where their player won the ball for me, but he kind of followed through and got my ankle, so the ref called the foul. So the ref calls the foul, and I'm a little.
Hold on, full context. Did you turn around and bitch at the ref and or the player?
Not really. No, I kind of milked it though. I was on the ground and it hurt. Like, he caught me,
Yeah.
and I kind of milked it. I heard the whistle, so he called it. So I was a little upset he called the foul on me because I felt like I got all ball. And if he kicked through, then he got my studs. Okay, incidental contact. The ref calls the foul on me. So I turn around and I'm like, I don't know about that one. But he goes, look, I gave you one, so it's kind of the same play. I go, okay, fair enough. I'm walking away. And I hear behind me, I go, hey, I hear, hey, hey. And I turn around and it's Messi. And he's mad at me. But he's not mad because of the tackle. He says to me, why you no say sorry? And I'm like, dude, we're in a playoff game. Like, I don't know what you want me to tell you, man. Like, I thought it was like a reasonable attempt at the ball. And then like he's looking at me and like 3 or 4 seconds go by and I'm like, but my bad, man. It's like, all right, listen, I'm just gonna like, my bad. Like,
Yeah.
it is what it is, dude. You know what I mean? Like, come on. And so, anyways, he was cool about it afterwards. But listen, those type of moments, man. I mean, you just.
The goat. That's you'll never forget that one. That's
But the thing I took from it is that his English might be a little bit better than we think it is.
Why you not say sorry?
yeah, say sorry. Gordo, you Dex, that's a lot, and I'm excited for you, man. But we got to talk about the Galaxy because in my mind they've performed the best in the first round of the playoffs. And Gordo, you saw them up close and personal on the field in Colorado. Just curious before we talk about the game. Who was actually hosting you? Was the Colorado Rapids hosting you, or was the LA Galaxy hosting you?
I got my tickets from the Galaxy. I got my tickets from the Galaxy.
And were they the ones that brought you down onto the field?
It was a mix.
Oh,
Because you
playing
were
both sides, huh?
complete Galaxy gear, Galaxy hat, kids in Galaxy jerseys, not an ounce or a shred of Colorado Rapids paraphernalia
Disrespect.
anywhere near.
Social media influencing for the Galaxy, by the way.
I couldn't believe it.
Every time I talked to somebody from the Rapids, I would turn my hat around. So, and then I was talking to Janino and some of the old guys, and I'd turn it back around.
Oh my God, it was so good. I was dying. I was like, man, this guy, I just knew the knots that your stomach was turning in every time you saw one person. Like the next person, like, oh shit, I got to figure this out.
I got a little bit of shit from the front office Rapids people for sure.
Good, deservedly so. I appreciate that. How was the Galaxy in person? Because I thought I didn't get to see the whole game, but it did further my belief that Ricky Puig is the runner-up and MVP, which is what we talked about, which is recency bias. Thank you very much, Dax, and I am completely comfortable with it. But he is absolutely crushing it. Are you doubling down on how good the Galaxy are, or are we maybe tempering expectations because of the way that the Rapids maybe performed?
Yeah, I think the Rapids had a great year for them. You know, they surprised a lot of people. We've talked about them a lot. They got some results early in the season that maybe they didn't deserve, gained some confidence, some momentum. They ultimately got into the playoffs. I will say that I think they went in limping in. Mihalovic was injured. I think he toughed it out this time, but he was obviously not the player for the season that he had. He had a MVP caliber season for them, and he's probably up there somewhere down the full totem pole of the list of candidates for MVP, but he had a phenomenal season.
Yeah.
The Rapids were not good on the night. However,
Georgie was picking up the ball so deep. They couldn't
so
find him anywhere near the attacking third.
because the way that the Galaxy play, they fill the middle of the park. That's their strength. They have so many good players. They have Delgado. They got Ricky. They got a lot of players. They tuck their outside mids inside. There's no room, and so he was being pushed all the way back just to even get the ball. So, and especially it's a fairly tight. The Rapids have a fairly tight pitch, if you will. It's not as big as the Galaxies or whatever, but
which is also odd because it's the biggest grass patch in any stadium. When they built it, I was with the Rapids, and they first made it literally full 120 by 80 because the thinking was you're going to come into altitude and we're going to run you off the field. I've never seen a bigger field in my entire life. And then they keep bringing it tighter and tighter and tighter. But the capability is huge. It's enormous.
Yeah. So, I mean, I would say that they looked really good. Ricky's got 2 goals back-to-back playoff games. He looks phenomenal. And the guys that they're bringing on, their bench, I was watching them warm up. You got Royce. You got, you got a lot of players that can come in and be impactful, which is really important. So they look fantastic. I think they have I've looked at their path. They got a really good shot at getting to the MLS playoffs. You just had Houston, who we thought was going to be a very dangerous team in the playoffs, and they got knocked out. PKs,
Capitulation.
And so,
Capitulation.
Yeah, they also shit the bed.
Yeah, and they did. And so I think they have a really good shot at making it to the final. And like I said last week with me and you, Gargs, I'm really confident I would give them a massive majority on them being a better team than LAFC, who's ultimately in a third game right now. They're in a battle. They got smacked. They got smacked, dude. And so they look really strong. I think they're hot right now.
So
can we visit this Houston situation for a little longer?
Yeah, we can. Before we get to Houston, I do want to ask you guys, or actually, let's stick with Gordo because Dax, you're in it. You are one of the third game final round matchups. Who are you taking, Gordo? You got NYC FC going back to Cincinnati, so they knock off Cincinnati in New York. You got Vancouver, who, man, put up a bunch of goals against Portland and now goes and gets another result, now going back to LA. And then you also have Atlanta, Miami, which is a tough task, but still a third game. Give me your picks. What are your expert predictions?
I've seen Vancouver. I would give them, if I was going to pick a team to do it, I would pick Vancouver. I think Vancouver is super dangerous. This lefty guy that we've been talking about,
Ryan Gault.
Yeah,
Ryan Gault's a player. He's fun.
Bro, he is a player, dude, and he's good. And White is a handful up top. They've been connecting well, and they can score goals. And so they got some legs. And so I just don't think LAFC has the mojo right now that they need to get through. And that was a bad result from them. And they didn't look great in the first leg either. So I would pick Vancouver.
So you like the upset in LA. Okay. Give me
I'm going.
You're going?
I'm going Atlanta United. I like the boys to go spring the upset. I'm going Orlando City, hold serve at home against Charlotte.
Yep.
Going LAFC, going to bounce back. They are going to beat they're going to beat Vancouver. And I'm picking NYCFC to beat Cincy.
Really?
NYCFC with a comprehensive performance. They were fantastic in New York. And I don't know if it has to do with the field dimensions or what, but Cincy didn't look great. And I just think New York City, the way that they press and the way that they can kind of come at you from a bunch of different angles, attacking wise, and I think they have an informed striker right now, which is something that I don't think Cincinnati has. I don't think Cincinnati has an informed striker, and when that's the case, you're relying too heavily on Lucho Acosta to win you games, and I think he's capable of doing that, but I think it's going to be a little bit too far, so I'm picking NYCFC as well.
Gordo, finish it out. You got you're taking Vancouver for the upset. Miami, Atlanta, who you got?
I like Atlanta.
You like Atlanta.
I like Atlanta. I think I'm not just saying that. I'm not just saying that. I'm
I
not
mean,
just saying.
He's my boy.
Uh,
I'm putting
I
pressure on him.
think
He feels the pressure that I'm here.
no. It's not. For all the reasons. For all the reasons, dude.
yeah,
Listen, Supporter Shield winners get upset in the MLS in the playoffs. They just do. There's and this is a team that shouldn't. They are a squad that there's been very few supporter MLS Cup champions. There's just been very few. It's really tough. Miami has all the makeups to do both. They really do, and they have a huge task at hand. It's not going to be easy. We've said all these things. However, they just play them really tough, dude, and it's going to be a tough game. And I'm going against myself here. I mean, like they have game changers. So the ball on one of these guys' foot, could be the end of them. However, if it gets to a certain spot, I feel like this is a really, really dangerous place for Miami to be in, right? And so I just think as a total, not just as these two teams individually, as a total history of the MLS, I feel like that Miami is in a really tough spot because they have so much pressure to win, and it's mounted up, dude. And the destiny thing, I agree with you guys. I feel like when you have a team that's finally found some joy and some comfort in the way that they're playing after a complete frustrating season, that's a nothing to lose. I agree with all the things you're saying, and I'm gonna tune into that game. It's gonna be a fun.
it's going to be a fun one. If being Tata Martino with Messi and Suarez and Busquets and Alba and playing at home is a tough spot, I'll take that tough spot. I'm going to take that tough spot. So I'll sit in that tough spot. But I want to hear Cincinnati, New York. Who are you taking there?
When I watched, I didn't necessarily, when I watched the first leg, you guys were kind of high on Cincinnati. I kind of felt the opposite. I thought that New York, because I haven't watched them a lot, I was more impressed than I thought that I would be. And I thought it was a really close match. And I thought that they do have dangerous players, and they had a lot of good opportunities. And I'll take Dax's word for it. If they have a guy that's in form, then I wasn't as impressed as I thought I was going to be with Cincinnati.
All right. And Orlando, Charlotte?
Orlando.
Yeah, the only one I'll touch on is the Cincinnati, New York. And I would say that I'm going to take Cincinnati just purely because they're at home. Not because I think that they're better than New York right now. I actually don't. I wasn't too impressed with either group in the first round, and I think Cincinnati's going to have to show me a lot more if they're going to go anywhere further than winning this game at home. But I'll go Cincy, Orlando. I'm with you guys, man. I like the form that Vancouver's in. And I think that, similar to like they got flipped off and didn't get their home game. And I think that they took that the best way possible. And to catch a result against an LAFC that has had, to be fair, a really long couple years. They've had a long season as well. I like where Vancouver is. So I'm going to take Vancouver.
To be clear, I went LAFC.
Yeah, I'm taking
Vancouver. You guys.
Yeah. Okay. You're right. Okay. Well, so you're wrong. I'm going to take Vancouver, and I'm also going to take Miami. So there's the picks. Before we go, there are a couple clubs that have now been knocked out. Houston, one of them. Dax, I know that you wanted to touch on the Houston Seattle result. What are your thoughts? What are we thinking there?
What are we thinking there? I don't care who you are. It's a disgrace. I don't care if you're in a sporting event or not. It's disgraceful to spit at someone, namely a referee. So Hector Herrera, who, by the way, I think is an absolutely brilliant player and has been a fantastic signing for Houston. Probably one of the best signings of the last 10, 15 years for a team. And I think makes them – he's the straw that makes him tick. He stirs the drink, and he's amazing. He really is. Yeah. But but you can't spit at someone. Like, what are we doing here? I would rather him have gone up and punched the referee in the face. Honestly, it's a disgrace. And to see what Karaskia did, how like scatterbrained you had to be to get sent off for hands to the face in the first leg, and then to spit at someone in the set, it's just crazy. Even if Houston would have won that game and gone to a third leg against Seattle and made it all the way to MLS Cup, Herrera's not going to be involved.
How long is he going to be out? Where are we at with that now?
Spitting, I mean, you're looking at, I think, at minimum 3 games. But
I was going to say 3 to 5, right?
I was thinking 3 to 5 at least, and it's just don't spit at someone. Come on, what are you doing?
No disrespect.
Hand up, I've made mistakes. I've done dumb crap.
Everyone's made mistakes. That is egregious.
Spitting at someone is egregious, and so I'm like, come on, what are we doing here? It's just ridiculous.
Especially for somebody so decorated as a player, played in so many big games.
By the way, it was like a clear foul. Like I don't understand what he was upset. It's just ridiculous. Houston completely fell apart. Even though both games went to penalties, they were a better team than Seattle was. But Seattle just does what Seattle does. They grind it out. Stephen Fry come up big in penalties. That irked me, the way that went down. So Seattle, I think Seattle will be a thorn in the side of anyone, but
they're going to be a tough out. They're always a tough out,
but I just don't see Seattle having enough this year.
No, I would agree with you, Dax. You know what? I was surprised to see the Salt Lake, Minnesota result. I don't know if you guys watched any of that game.
I didn't, but I wasn't surprised. Salt Lake has kind of been struggling the last couple of months, and I don't.
You're right.
Longo has been in great form.
Dude, no, he hasn't. He was actually a donkey. I don't know if you guys watched him. He got subbed in. So Pablo didn't start him, and he got subbed in the 70th minute. Dude, his first touch, and he also looks overweight. I don't know what the heck is going on, but his first touch, he hit like, when you hit a drive and it goes sideways, he gets subbed on. He's down the line. He picks his head up to hit a ball, and he literally hits it out for a throw-in, like directly 90 degrees to the right. And it was like, oh, no, that's not a good sign. But Salt Lake had so many chances. I thought Diogo was really disappointing for me. I mean, big signing for them. Had 2 very obvious, clear goal-scoring opportunities. Doesn't put either one of them away. And then you missed 5 penalties. What is going on? Like, I understand there is pressure around penalties, but come on, man. Like, you can't miss the frame in my mind. I think that's painful. Make the keeper
make a save.
Make the keeper make a save. These guys are all over the shop. And I mean, Dane, to his credit, he is really good, man. He can get his hands on anything. And if you let it go there, and you're shit out of luck. I think, who'd they sell, Dax? They sold the winger.
They sold their winger. Yeah.
Dude, who was I think 37 goal contributions up until that point, and they just got rid of him in the middle of, and then you're asking Chicho to be the best of the best of the best, which, Gordo, this, goal scorers, they're streaky. And if, and then Chicho goes through what he goes through, and he's clearly not the same player. They definitely got things to build from. Did you guys see Matt Crooks? He is a monster. I don't know if you've watched him play in the past.
I played against him. He's gigantic.
Dude, he's huge. The amount of ground covers.
Yeah.
Jeez. That was pretty wild. All right, well, listen, Dax, in particular, how much?
I know you didn't pick us, but no, I know you're part.
I did. I want you to tell Gordo, now that this is a ballot day. We are on election day, and I think across most states, specifically here in Missouri, we are voting on whether or not to allow legal gambling. So, how much should Gordo wager on Atlanta United? And actually, what is the line? Do we have a line yet? Is there a line in Vegas?
I don't know. I cannot legally answer this question or contribute to that in any way. Now, if you want to ask me about the Titans or the Ravens or the Broncos or the Portland Sutton over under, I'm down.
No, I want Gordo. I'll give you a goal for 20. 20 and 100 push-ups. I'll give you a goal. You got
One.
Atlanta. One goal. I'm giving you a goal.
Oh, dude, they there's only been one game decided by more than one goal,
I
right?
know. That's why I will give you a goal.
Or
I'm giving
maybe
you a
two.
goal.
No, there's two games, right, Dax?
He-
Yeah, I'll take the goal.
A goal, $20 and 100 push-ups.
Okay.
All
I
right.
love it. Heard it here first.
Dax, I will be a
Won't
happy
let you down, Gordo.
I will be a happy and willing participant in doing 100 push-ups if you win, and I will be thrilled
Live on the pod while hosting.
while on the pod. And I will also gladly take Gordo's money and buy it on beers. So I wish you the best of luck. We'll see you out there soon, Journeymen. It's been a fun playoffs, and it is just getting started. So I'm glad I've been getting. I'm sure you guys are getting messages too, but I've been getting messages about how much fun these playoffs are. I think people are tuning in, which is awesome to see because the results have been crazy, and the games have been really good games too. So I don't expect anything less for this weekend. Dax, stay healthy. Have a good weekend or a good week, and good luck. Good luck in Miami. We'll see you out there.